Good morning, guys. December blessings. Hope you're all well. So I was going to come on and make this video quite festive, quite Christmassy, but being sort of, an active witch, I haven't actually got many Christmassy things. I've got an old Christmas jumper in the cupboard that I thought, oh, maybe I'll put that on to do this video, but then I thought, oh, I really can't be arsed. So I thought, well, I've got my green t-shirt on. That's fairly festive. Green is a festive colour. And I've got my little bottle of Coke on the go at the moment. So that's festive with this sort of Coca-Cola advert that they always release at Christmas time. So cheers, guys. And I promise you it is Coke. It's nothing alcoholic or anything. So, as ever, let's do the tarot scope for the month ahead. So, December time. Oh, I don't know what to make of this, guys. This is the end. This is the wrapping up of what has probably been the most weirdest year, I think, in the history of, I don't know, however many years it must be. This has been such a crazy, crazy time, hasn't it? For so many different reasons, not just with the COVID and the pandemics and the lockdowns and the isolations and all of those things, that so much more than just that. The craziest of years, really, really has been. So yeah, but thank you so much for everybody that has supported me and continues to support my work through these sort of times of madness. It means so much. So thank you, my lovely ones. So as ever, I have my trusted tarot cards. So we're going to do a stop, start and continue for December time. Let's see what we need to be aware of. Let's see what we need to know about general guidance to be had. And we'll end the session with a witch's rune. And hopefully this reading will resonate, it will help, and it will make sense for us all. Okay, so I'm asking for a stop, start and continue at the moment, guys, for the highest of good, for the collective energy, for, December time. No, that's not come up, it's just, okay, these have just come out. Right. So they've really just gone, there you are, have them, sort of thing. Oh. Okay. Right, all really interesting cards, guys. Literally, it actually was really interesting that just chucked 3 out. I love it when that happens, and it does it like that. Oh, it makes it easy, doesn't it? So, something we've to stop doing then, guys. The 10 of Swords is showing for us for December time. So for a lot of people are feeling burnt out physically, mentally, and spiritually, but what we've got to try and do is not get caught up in that self-sabotage. We've got to remember the blessings that kind of are there and the blessings that exist within our world. And I think for everybody, and anybody that has, anybody that's still here in this space and time now, and anybody that is still watching this video, give yourself that gift of acceptance, give yourself that gift of celebration, because we've had a shitty year, but you're still standing, and you might be hanging on by a thread. It might feel that way. It doesn't matter. You're still here. So for me, because this is coming in as a stop card, I think we have to stop, allowing the things that we've been up against to dictate, to rob our life. So many people at the moment can't see past the blockages that they're up against. A lot of people have lost their jobs, and a lot of people are taking that as a personal attack. And the reality is, it's not a personal attack. We're in a massive pandemic. We know there's the real risk and the reality. There's going to be a huge recession off the back of this. So no one is personally attacking you. Unfortunately, that maybe is just how things have taken place for you. So we have to almost stop stabbing ourselves in the back, For some people, they're caught up in the grievings of losing loved ones, or friends or family members, or even animals that have transitioned, and it is really awful that those people have gone to the spirit realm. And it's really hard as a medium. That is one of the hardest things for me, because we never know when a person's time is up, and what I have actually found really hard this year, I was talking to a friend the other day and saying about this. When I do readings, very often I do block readings, so I do a couple back to back, different people, and I'm not saying that, like, you know, everybody's traumas, everybody's things they're going through are really bad, or they shouldn't be feeling that way, because obviously everybody has the right to feel exactly how they feel. But what's really interesting is, like, the other week, for example, I did a reading for somebody who had lost a beautiful child to the spirit world, and it was awful, really, really awful to have lost somebody so young. And then the next reading I did, I was reading for somebody that was suicidal, and they didn't want to be here. They really, really did not want to be here. And you just sometimes think, guys, if we could all see what each other are going through and what each other are up against, we would maybe look at our own life a little bit differently. And I know it sounds a little bit cliche to say, but it really is one of those things. Whatever we're going through, whatever we're up against, somebody is always up against something worse, or something more heavy, or something darker. And, you know, it's just remembering, I suppose, to have that bigger awareness for things more than anything. Don't stay stuck as being victimized by your circumstances. And like I say, there is no rhyme or reason when somebody transitions back home to the world of spirit. And as a medium, it's so hard and it's so frustrating because it's outside of my control. But all we can take from it is the understanding that on a spiritual level, the soul contract, which would have been pre-signed, pre-agreed before a loved one actually took physical life in the spirit world, has been complete. And, you know, for people that have lost children, and all these different things, it sometimes just feels like, well, how can their contract be complete? But, you know, karmatically, and it could be related to past times, past lives, they've come here for what they needed to do. We might not ever understand that, but it has been complete, you know? So it's hard. But like I say, so it really is hard as a medium, because when you're doing a reading for someone that has lost a beautiful child and they're putting their best foot forward, and then you get somebody else who doesn't want to be in this world, and you think, you know, you feel like almost like you want to slap them and sort of shake them a little bit. And it's a bit like, you know, if you could see the hurt that some of the other people are going through, you would almost start to suddenly recognise what you still carry, what you still have within this world. So I think December time for a lot of people is going to be stop looking at what is lost, what you feel like has sort of stabbed you in the back, or what has overwhelmed you, and really start to celebrate what you still have and hold in your life, you know. And yeah, that's probably the one of the worst things as a medium. It's the only thing I sort of struggle with sometimes, because everybody has a story, everybody goes through stuff, and as a medium you see snapshots of each person's kind of life, and sometimes stuff is amazing and it's great, but sometimes the things that are triggering somebody, you think, oh, I understand that it's an issue and it's a frustration, but please see the bigger picture. You know, sometimes I get people come to me that are stuck in love triangles or relationship issues, and yes, it might be overwhelming, it might be awful, and again, I'm not devaluing that sort of energy that you might be going through, but I might have just finished with somebody that's lost a loved one, or found somebody like who's taken their own life. So many things it could be, and you think, in the grand scheme of things, yes, that is awful, but it's nothing compared to what this other person's going through. And you almost think, get your head out your arse, see the bigger picture. And I don't mean that nastily, but I think sometimes we have to start being a bit more aware of the blessings we have, you know. And I think for a lot of us, this year has really sort of shown that. It's highlighted things to the surface. So Ten of Swords, don't devalue your own light. Don't allow anything to sabotage or block you. For some people, you'll be dreading Christmas this year. I'll be honest, it's not my favourite time, but on the flip side, I'm still very blessed and lucky for the people that are in my life. But Ten of Swords is all about keeping it simple. Don't stab yourself in the back. Don't be victimised by any sets of circumstances or situations. You can always work through a problem. The water is wanting to cleanse and heal these things from you, okay? So just go careful through December time, guys. And then what we've got to start doing, we've got to start taking accountability. We've got to start taking ownership for the greatness that's in our life. Because we've got the King of Swords coming in. So this is our start card. And the sun is starting to rise. And that is all about light coming into our world after darkness. And for some people, life may never be the same as it once was. But it doesn't have to be bad or, lesser than a previous time. For a lot of people, it's just a different way of living. It's having to find a new way to be happy. And the King of Swords is all about really, really authentic energy. So putting on the crown, being very much the doorkeeper of your own destiny. The sword is going in place to protect you. So there may be, as you move forward, you have to start putting yourself forward a little bit more and first in sets of circumstances or situations. And the king lives his best life, not for other people, but for himself. Maybe you haven't had the opportunity to do that thus far, but now you're reaching a point in your life where maybe through the circumstances that the circumstances that have naturally evolved around you, maybe you're starting to actually recognize, yeah, I need to actually now own my world, own my shit, own my stuff, and this card is giving you complete permission to do that. So it's cutting away from the ties that bind you. So if this has been overwhelming, you can choose to carry that for the rest of your days, or the king can almost come in and say, I'm worth more than what this is offering, So it's having to, in some ways, really, really invest in yourself, put quite a lot of important changes in place, and detach from anything that you've outgrown or not serving you, so that you can move forward in your authentic times with your head up high. So I think as we close this year down, it's the looking over what's happened, what we've been through, but it's putting boundaries in place moving forward and making sure that next year, as we go into next year, a lot of people are going to awaken to their true calling, their true power, and living life on your complete terms, not settling for anything lesser. The king has duty. He has to rule his kingdom as he sees fit to do so. So he has to make sure it works for him, and the people in his life, it almost spills over to them as a secondary. So it's never selfish. You don't ever feel guilty for putting yourself first, because this is a time, put the crown on, sit on the throne, know and trust you have a right to be there, okay? So start living your best life. And it might not be a life that you initially had planned or thought was going to go that way, but make the best of the cards you're dealt with. That's really what this is saying. You've got the Black Bird as well, which is all about the freedom, but it's also protection. So moving forward, you will be safe, you will be protected as best as you can. And I think it's also saying protect the investments that matter to you. And your conclusion card, or your continue card, I should say, is the Six of Cups. So Six of Cups is a card of reminiscing, it's looking over the past, and it's remembering happy times. And, I always say within this lifetime, we have many sort of mini adventures that we go through. So whilst we're in the one vessel as ourselves, we will go through, in some ways, many sort of mini lifetimes within that one vibration of who we are. And to me, the Six of Cups, it's reminiscing, it's looking over all the greatness, all the happy times you've been through. But if there are any things that sort of, rob your past, if you get sort of caught up again here, if there's things that overwhelm you, this is almost wanting you to send healing and love back to those situations so you can have an awareness for them, but they don't have to dictate you in the here and now. They don't have to rob anything from you. So where we've got all these sort of flowers coming into the cups, that is almost like healing the scars of your past. So for some of you, there may be some deep healing journeys that you're doing or you're going through, and you might have to be continuing that vibration, For those people that maybe are grieving the loss of loved ones, there's perhaps ongoing sort of stuff you're tackling. But it's each day as it comes. But you've got this big sort of home in the background here, and that's keeping you safe, loved and protected. And it's almost like, make sure that you're home works for you. It's almost making sure you have sacred space in the here and now, but moving forward as well. So, and I know for December time, a lot of people do think over past loved ones, things that have happened. You know, it's a thinking time for a lot of people. You know, December and Christmas is a thinking time, and if you've lost loved ones, what a lot of people do is they maybe put a photograph out on the dinner table, or they maybe like place a chair for a loved one, and very often you find like little feathers, coins, or gifts from the spirit world come in. So it might be that you want to do that if you don't normally. That could be something worth doing. But this is continuing to manage your emotions, to honour the past, to celebrate the great stuff, but to let go of anything that hurt you. Because where does it really sort of need to be in your life moving forward? What's it going to change? What's it going to achieve? You know, you still went through that time period, but give yourself permission to set that energy free, because that's not so helpful. Focus on the magic that, you know, that is in your life, really. So a really interesting set of cards. They're quite heavy cards as well, because we've got two that are coming in from the swords. Swords want to detach, they want to cut away from things, but also swords represent our mental mind. So for a lot of people, our mental state of play is going to be heightened with this time of year, you know, so be careful, guys, with December. Now, as ever, I'm going to end with a little witch's rune just to finish this reading. So let's see what we've got. Interesting. So I've just mentioned the sword and detachments. We have got coming in the Seath or Scythe, or also known as the Witch's Blade. So when the Witch's Blade shows, it's detaching from people, circumstances, or situations that are not serving your highest of good. So for a lot of people through December time, you're going to start to really tie up this year, really sort of cut the loose ends, if you like, more than anything. And moving forward into next year, some of you might decide to break away from friendship circles that you've outgrown. Some of you might think there are family members that really haven't been there when it mattered, and it may have really brought the title of family into question. And maybe you think moving forward, I don't want those people in my life, you know. That may well be something that happens for some of you. There could also be the detachments that have come in outside of your control. You know, if people are mourning or have lost people, you know, those people have been literally pulled and severed from you. And maybe there are some things you're clearing up off the back of it. So behaviours from certain people that now, you know, perhaps certain loved ones aren't physically around. Your set of circumstances, your set of commitments are changing quite a bit. So this is all about positive changes. This is also a rune of protection. So it's not sort of being nasty or harsh about these changes. Sometimes we have to put boundaries in because people just don't have them themselves. You know, that happens so often. Another person doesn't have, you know, a boundary, so we have to action one because they're unable to put it in place. Okay, so boundary setting for December, guys. Keep life on your terms. Don't devalue yourself, but don't give away your power. Stay in control, which again is the king, staying firmly in control to what you want to experience. Taking all the greatness, all the riches of this year, but detaching and leaving any negative aspects behind. So an interesting set of cards and rune. I hope this reading resonates. I hope it makes sense for you. Have a magical time in December. Keep it real, keep it simple. Don't stress, don't overwhelm yourself. Christmas is just a day. It comes and it goes. The presents and all of that side, all the commercialism, it doesn't matter. And more than ever before, you know, we're really being shown that that doesn't matter. Everything is about the vibration of heart. Everything is about the vibration of unconditional love. And this is why I sort of chose to wear green today, because green is the colour of the heart chakra and it's the colour of unconditional love. So I'm sending that in bucket loads out to you guys. Have a fantastic December time. Stay safe, stay well. If you get the opportunity to have fun, if you get the opportunity to be a bit merry, go for it. And I look forward to sort of linking with some of you throughout December time. And yeah, just stay safe and keep it real. Catch you soon, guys. Bye.